Hello, I'm Sam. Welcome to, here we are at the Bonhams tent at Goodwood Festival of Speed. It is currently Tuesday, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little look around and we're going to show you some of the cars that are popping up. I've picked out 4 that are my favourites and going to do a little bit of info on all of those. Some cool stuff, some cool things going to be on sale, but they haven't actually arrived yet, so let's have a little mooch around the tent and then we'll show you some other stuff. SLS is a bit of an interesting one these days, I think is future classic. Those gold wing doors, pretty cool. Never really liked how they drive, but proper sort of muscle car. This behind me is pretty cool. Defender Spectre edition from I think 2014. Kind of like a seriously pumped up Defender from factory. A lot of people do modifications to their Defender, and this, I guess, is the 007 edition. Possibly a little overkill for most people's usage, but pretty rough and ready, pretty tough looking beast. And I think quite cool. Now this is pretty cool. E30 M3 Group N racing car. It's just pretty cool. I imagine lots of sliding about in this. If ever there was a car that you could say you get a lot for your money these days, here we have a Phantom long wheelbase. This is a 2006, 2004, 2006 car, and I think it's worth 60-ish. That's what the estimate is. And it was a 400 grand car new. That is mental, like just mental. And presumably you've got probably a lot of liabilities with running something like this, but it is a mad thing. And the quality of the build. And it's got these hand-painted, that was probably a, I don't know, 10, 15 grand option on the side of your long wheelbase Phantom. And then just so much space. So much and comfort in the back and refinement. Like look how thick. Doesn't really give a representative. Look how thick this door is with your umbrella. And actually, I'm not pressing the button, but dunk. And then in the back, looked at, but a pretty chunky boot for all of your things. And then you just get chauffeured around. What a cool place to spend some time in this sort of land yacht. Right, here we have behind me a RUF BTR2, and what that is based on the 993. At the time, I think 1993, there was only a Carrera out, which was a 3.6 litre naturally aspirated engine, and sort of, what was it, 260-ish horsepower-ish? And then RUF come along, they whack a turbo on it, and you get 400 and, apologies, I'm just checking on my notes because I cannot remember all the facts about all the cars, but 414 brake horsepower up, so it was up from 268. That is an absolute ton load. It went from 5.6 seconds to 60 down to 3.7 in this. And it had 420 foot-pounds torque, which is about the same as my 997 GT3 RS. So this was a seriously quick car back in the day. It did 191 miles an hour when the base Carrera could only do 168. So if you bought a RUF back then, you were a bit of a boss. And this is in cab spec. It needs a little bit of love, but seems to be sort of fine. But let's have a little look around it. They whacked on the whale tail, bit of a slightly different front bumper, and then 993s. 993s is, to me, it's a really cool sort of coming into, I don't know. Some people say they've been cool for ages, but for me, only recently have I started looking at 993s and gone, yeah, I quite fancy. But looks suitably retro, really smooth shape. And this, with the roof down, be a pretty cool way to sort of smash across Europe. I don't know whether I would go for a convertible. I don't know, I think I'd probably have a coupe, but this particular sort of era of car, the RUF ones were just super, super cool. What else did you get? You had upgraded suspension, brakes, and all sorts of stuff like that. This car was initially sold to Singapore before being imported to the UK in 2016 and has a guide price of 140 to 170k. I think it's a pretty cool thing. It's just a bit different, a bit of a mad time from the 90s. So yeah, that is the RUF BTR2 Convertible. These sorts of things, it's always about going for a little sneak as well. Like, I'm meant to be at the Bonhams stuff, but let's have a little look around it here. And I've heard there's some pretty cool stuff. Now, this is what it's all about. On the Cartier lawn, I think it's Cartier lawn, it is. And here we have a bunch of McLaren F1s and F1 GTRs. Very, very, very tasty. It turns out that because I'm so early for this event, that even some of the cars I wanted to come and film are not actually here yet. One of them is stuck in Guernsey at the moment. It will be here later in the week. That was a P1 GTR that had a Lansanti conversion. As you can see, we're out the back now, lots going on. Stage being built behind the camera over there. There's the big Bonhams tent and lots of things going on. A little Evo 2. Maybe Integrale, very cool. I think those, I love those. I absolutely love them. They're okay to drive, but just such a cool boxy design nowadays. Now, the Bonhams sale is on Friday and the previews are on Thursday. So you can log in, you can go and have a look at the catalog online. If you get yourself a catalog, you can come and have a look in the tent, have a mooch around at Festival of Speed. Yeah, go and have a look online. There's some cool stuff here. And the sale is on Friday. I was just leaving and I came across two cars, two Koenigseggs. We've got a 1.1 and an Agera R. Pretty sick. Look at those two. 1-to-1 famously was 1 horsepower per kilogram, and I think it was about 1,350 kilos, 1,350 horsepower, and this one is a dark blue carbon. You see the weave. It is so cool. Look at that. In terms of hyper stuff, for me it doesn't get any more hyper than a Koenigsegg. The mix of engineering, lightweight, I don't care if your car's got 2,000 horsepower. If it's super heavy, it's not going to handle like a sports car. Now, a Chiron is mighty impressive and I think is a thing to use a lot. It's probably pretty cool, but these are where it's at, aren't they? So cool. Now, I have always said if I was going to get a hypercar, and in my sort of 5-car garage questions on the podcast, this is the hypercar. A 1.1 or a Agera RS or something like that. Beastie V8. Lots of horsepower, but also crazy engineering, incredibly lightweight, so many cool innovations from Christian von Koenigsegg. It's just, they're just so cool. And this is a really unexpected surprise for me leaving Goodwood. And I will see you guys in the next video.